version. Yes, recording in progress. So let's get to it. We may have some other people jumping on as we go, but we're going to jump right in. And tonight we are going to talk about essential oil practices and energy routines for focus, motivation, and productivity. So drop in the chat or raise a hand or something. Anybody felt unmotivated, full of brain fog, kind of like lethargic in the last 2 years, the last 2 days, the last 2 hours? Yes. Oh, please, 2 hours for sure. Every day. Yeah, it's natural, normal. And yet I think that the last 2 years, particularly because of the collective trauma that we have all experienced, this has escalated, right? So I don't know about you, but I have had many more pockets of brain fog and like, what did I just walk into the room for? I have no idea. It's funny because the other day I had a really great idea about a program or a webinar or something. I was like, that is really creative. I'm going to do that. This morning, I remembered I had a really great idea and I don't remember what it was. I don't know what it was. I figure if it was really that good, it's going to come back to me. So we'll keep that. We'll see. So I'm not alone, it sounds like, in having this sort of lack of motivation, productivity. And so some of you, I know, have been to many webinars. I have been doing them for many years, but the last year or so, I did one in January about manifesting. I think some of you were on it, but I just really haven't had the motivation all the time to do it, or I have been not as productive. So I just thought it would be an interesting topic to address today. So just take a moment right now to arrive and take a breath. Maybe you want to take a couple of notes. Maybe you just want to listen. You might want to have a glass of water, a cup of tea with you, and just take a moment to take a nice full breath, a focused breath, and get centered and present. And anything that is looming over your head right now, just leave it at the door. You could always pick it up and take it back if you want to, or you can just leave it there. What else is popping in? So we are going to dive in and first look at why essential oils and energy practices, right? So I believe that we have so much healing within ourselves, and we just get in the way of that sometimes. And so I also love the idea of having a robust toolbox of things that I can go to when I need a boost, when I need to focus, anything like that. And two of my favorite tools are working with energy and working with essential oils. So just a quick bit of background on that. I have a background in a combination of business and leadership development, but also in wellness. And in wellness, my primary focus has been fitness, and I started to incorporate and learn about essential oils about 6-7 years ago now. I'm also trained in Reiki 1, 2, and advanced Reiki techniques, and I learned Reiki and became attuned in Reiki to use it on myself. I was not going through the Reiki process to put out my shingle and become a Reiki practitioner. If you want that, you've got Gail Christie on the screen here. She is a phenomenal Reiki practitioner, and I have had several sessions with her. So she's the go-to if you want a session. But also Reiki is the first thing I remember is learning is the teachers that I worked with said, hands-on Reiki on. And it really means that there is energy in all of us, right? So I learned Reiki to work with myself, and we're not really going to get into Reiki practices today, but I just wanted to mention it a little bit where my interest comes with energy and if you've ever had a child or a pet or even a friend that was, very frantic, upset, and just laying hands on someone who is feeling very chaotic or manic or frazzled can really bring the energy down, right? Even doing it on yourself, if you're feeling very stressed and you're just putting your hand on your heart, just doing that. So there are simple things that are available to us. And so why this? Here are some of the things that I love about essential oils and energy work. So essential oils, I always start out by telling people they're safe, effective, and affordable. They're safe because, and when I talk about essential oils, if you've been to anything that I've done before, I only am referring to the doTERRA essential oils because those I know are the highest quality. doTERRA is the largest essential oil company on the planet with the most tested and most trusted oils. I know that they're safe and effective. And so they are tested and they are sourced ethically. And so I have confidence in them. And I know that sometimes some of the things we might talk about using them for today, I would not suspect that you would get the same results. I can almost guarantee you if you were buying your oils from Amazon or Walmart. Don't even think about it. So perish the thought, right? So they're safe, effective, and affordable. And I say affordable because every oil, we're going to talk about one tiny thing that the oils I'll feature today can do, but they really can do, one oil can do so many more things, but we're not going to get into all of the uses today. With energy work, it's accessible because, like I said, just putting your own hand over your heart you can do that anytime. It's efficient because you don't need equipment. You can move your body and change the energy, and you don't need any, you don't need anything but your own self. And it's empowering because anytime you can shift your mood, to me, that's empowering. So I added empowering on there because if you can take an oil and inhale it and you can change your energy space, then to me, that's very empowering. So our focus today is our focus is focus. You're in the right place if you want to be more focused, more motivated, or more empowered. So any of those things you are in the right place. And there are so many other directions we could go with this, but I just felt like that was narrow enough that we can focus on that in our time together today. Someone else popping in. I love the little waiting room things. Hello, coming from the waiting room. So we're going to start with an energy practice just to really kind of prove my point that energy is out there and we're moving it at any time. So I want you to just, hopefully you're all seated, sit on a chair or in the floor, or maybe if you're on the floor, a half lotus or some other comfortable position, kind of like a meditation posture. And you want to sit up nice and straight. So you are straighten your lower back and your feet on the floor. I'm squirming around here too, just to make sure my feet are on the floor. So feet on the floor, facing forward, parallel. So not turned out like ballet, nice parallel feet on the floor. And placing your hands on your knees, palms up, and just close your eyes. If you're driving and listening to this, don't close your eyes. So close your eyes and just breathe comfortably. Don't try to change your breath or deepen it or do anything crazy with it, just breathing comfortably. And tune in to see if it's fast or slow tonight, deep or shallow. And then I'm going to ask you to slowly bring your hands in front of your chest so that they're facing each other, as if you had like a little ball in between your hands. And I want you to touch your fingertips to each other. So I'm going to show you, if you don't know what I'm saying, I'm up here in the corner showing you, just like you're almost like tucked in. And then we're going to just tap our fingertips together. We're gonna touch them together and tap them. We're gonna do that about 50 times. So just like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 3, 2, 10, 4, 2, 10, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now I'm going to ask you to rapidly rub your palms together for about 10 or 20 seconds. We're going to generate some heat. This was me when I was walking a little earlier today. It's like, wow, it's colder than I thought. Rubbing your hands together, rubbing your hands together. And then stop and move your palms apart so they're facing each other, about an inch between them. And gently close your eyes and focus on the feelings of your hands. They might feel hot or warm. They might feel tingly. Your fingertips might tingle. You might feel like something's like crawling on your hands, maybe. Anything like that, maybe between your fingers. Those are sensations of energy. Can anybody feel any pulsing, anything like that? Just take note of it. So I want you to repeatedly move your palms a little bit apart and then together, just kind of like you have a ball of light in your hands, a little bit apart, a little bit together, and just kind of be immersed in the sensations of your hands, just slowly repeating, expanding and contracting that space between them. So if you're very sensitive to energy, you might sense some heat, maybe some just magnetic force between your hands that is amplified. Might feel like you have an air balloon between your hands, pulling and pushing against each other. Now you're going to just move your hands slightly off center and kind of try to roll that air balloon that you have between them. And just think of that balloon as a ball of energy. Try to like turn it around very slowly between the palms of your hands. And just imagine that ball of light getting larger and stronger as you focus on the feeling between your hands. And take a nice breath, bring your hands back down to your lap. Take a moment and open your eyes. So I'd love to see in the chat, drop a thought in what your experience was. Did you feel warm? Could you feel pulsing energy? Did you feel nothing? And sometimes it takes a while. A lot of us are in our head. It takes us time to get into our body and feel energy. So did you notice any sensation? And if so, what did you notice or did you not? You can just say, nothing. I feel nothing. Oh, do not worry. I will not break into a song from Chorus Line. Relaxed, pulsing energy and heat. Beautiful. Heat, energy between the hands and pulsating. Love that. Definitely pulsing energy, particularly after rubbing them together. Love it. Heat and pulsing. A lot of heat and pulsing going on. I love this. So the really purpose of starting out with this is just to show you that you can feel energy, you can change energy, you can feel heat and pulsing and all of those things in just a matter of seconds, warm and pulsing. Love that, Lori. Yeah, you can just change your sort of chemistry, your environment in a moment, right? So we are going to talk oils. So that just is give us a little intro or into the whole energy conversation. So I'm going to share with each of these topics, focus, motivation, and empowerment, 3 oils that I love for that topic, and then an oil protocol using a few different oils. So that means for each of these areas, you are going to get several ideas. Now you might say, I know we have some veteran oil users and people knowledgeable about oils on here, and also a lot of people that registered for the recording. And you may say, oh, those are not the oils I use for focus. That is totally okay. I am only choosing a few. There are many more, and they might not be your favorites to use for this purpose. And that's the beautiful thing about the essential oils, is that lemon might be a favorite oil for me to create focus. And for you, rosemary is your go-to, or maybe you have something completely different that I never even tried for that. So this is not a full, foolproof, only these oils are the ones, not at all. So a couple that I'm going to start with are lemon, rosemary, and Intune. So let's start with lemon. Lemon is actually the oil of focus, and that's why it's on my list for focus. And it really helps us to engage the mind and helps us concentrate. So if I need to focus on something, lemon is my go-to. It is especially helpful for mental clarity and for creating more alertness, right? If you have someone in your home, or someone that has any learning issues, it is particularly helpful for learning issues also. Whether it's a difficulty concentrating or just someone that feels maybe incapable of learning or stuck with learning, right? It helps to restore confidence in that with the area of learning. So I love lemon to put in the diffuser. So any of the oils that I'm going to talk about today, one way to use them is put them in your diffuser. I don't know if you can see it, but I've got my diffuser going back there behind me. It's always going in my office. Often it's going with something like lemon or a combination. So that's some of my favorite things with lemon. Focus, energize, mental clarity, alertness, and also just really is helpful for learning. So that's a beautiful for that. And then I've got rosemary on there, and I have rosemary on there, and I actually would love to combine lemon and rosemary. So feel free to get creative in your diffuser. I'm always, just because it doesn't occur to me, people will sometimes say to me, can you mix these together, or do you only use one in your diffuser? Mix away. I almost never use just one oil in my diffuser. My friend Terry, she texts me often about what's in her diffuser in the morning. She'll give me her recipe, her blend. So rosemary is the oil of knowledge and transition. Every oil has an emotional component. So when I say lemon is the oil of focus, rosemary is the oil, and every oil has an emotional component to it. So that's where this comes from. It's about knowledge and transition. So the positive properties of rosemary are things like mental clarity, again, knowledgeable, teachable, enlightened, being open to new experiences, being able to adjust. And it's really about developing true knowledge. So again, it's another one that is great for learning difficulties. But if you are having trouble focusing, then that is kind of it's a learning challenge that you're having at that moment, right? That you're just having it in the moment. It is also one that helps with a feeling of confidence and assurance. And I really like those two together. So lemon and rosemary, great for focus. And the third one I've got there is Intune. Now that is the only oil that I'm sharing today that only comes in a roller ball format, which I don't even have it on my desk. But so that means you wouldn't put it in the diffuser because it's already in fractionated coconut in a roller ball. But it's one that I felt like it needed to get in there. That's the oil of presence. And the negative things that would work with being distracted, not being present, not being aware, being scattered, daydreaming, being procrastinating is another. So all of those things Intune helps with. It helps with focus, completing projects and tasks, and it helps with being calm and grounded and kind of living in the moment. A good friend of mine started using the oils several years ago, around when I did, and she gave Intune to her daughters who were in high school at the time, and they would be using it before a test, and their friends started getting, catching on, and they would pass it in the hallway. They'd pass each other in the hallway. They'd, pass their bottles of Intune before a test. So that oil is a rollerball oil, and it's a blend. So that is a doTERRA blend. You're not going to be able to find an oil called Intune. It's not a plant. It is a mixture. And the oils in there are frankincense is in there, I know, patchouli, lime. Let me see if what else is in there? Ylang ylang, sandalwood, Roman chamomile, and amyris. So it's a blend of multiple oils. So that is great for focus. But I want to tell you also a protocol that you can use that is great for getting focused and like getting things done, right? And that is a protocol with Douglas fir and patchouli. And you had me at patchouli. Donna, I know Donna loves her patchouli. So this is a protocol, that combination that I learned from Desiree Delaunay. Some of you I know have taken some of her workshops. She used to go by Desiree Mangendog, if you remember her from that name. And she's an acupuncturist and Chinese medicine specialist, among other things. And so when I'm looking for more depth and I want to learn about what acupuncture or acupressure points to use, I like to refer to her work. So that's where I get these points from. And this is Douglas fir on the top of the head, the crown, and patchouli on the bottom of the feet. So Douglas fir is all about the sort of like ancestral baggage that we carry with us, right? We all have a lot of, ancestry, that generational trauma, generational wisdom. It's actually the oil of generational wisdom, Douglas fir. And so it helps break generational patterns and learn from the past. So it's all about like getting, you've got your head, and then the patchouli is going to go on the bottom of your feet, sort of like the head and the feet. What is that old saying? It's like a African proverb or something like pray and move your feet. It's kind of like along those lines, right? So you're going to use the Douglas fir on the top of your head, and patchouli is the oil of physicality. So that is about being in motion. And we use these acupressure points or acupuncture points, and the oil gets right into the right place that it needs to be. So the protocol that I'm sharing today for getting focused is this Douglas fir on top of the head, patchouli on the bottom of the feet. So it's kind of like that, pray and move your feet, get into action, and don't let that generational baggage slow you down. But you got to still take action, right? You can't just sit and wait for things to happen to you. So let's talk a little bit about an energy practice for getting focused. This one is called brainwave vibration. And I have somewhere on my desk, I have a lot of things on the desk. I'm going to, it's buried. I'm going to share this book because it's propping up my laptop. And I can put it in the chat also. And so this comes from, it actually doesn't come from this particular book, but it's inspired by the person who wrote this book. And I follow a lot of energy practices with Il-Chi Lee. If you're familiar with him, he has many books. This one is called Water Up, Fire Down. So I will put that in the chat so that you can have the spelling of his name. And I definitely recommend his work. You could do like a whole half day on that, but we're not going to right now. We're just going to do this one energy practice for clearing brain fog. So there are two components to brainwave vibration. The first is, and I'm actually going to stop the share for a second. There we go. So that you can see a little bit better. Then there are two components. The first is a gentle shake of the head. So you're going to be doing a little shake of the head. You don't have to start yet. And you want to make sure that you're not like, you're not rattling your brain around. It truly is like a little gentle shake. Your chin is a little slightly down when you're doing it, kind of like that. similar to our first energy exercise, you want to be either seated. He recommends half lotus position or sitting in a chair if you can't do that with your feet on the floor. Again, palms, well, you're going to be using your hands for the second component of this. So the first piece is that gentle shake of the head, just like back and forth like this. So the premise of a lot of his work is that we want to, when he says water up, fire down, like our channel or our chain between our head and our gut are very closely related, right? So that's why we're doing something on the top. And then the second part, you're going to take your hands, put your thumbs in there, and you're going to have little fists like this. And you're going to use the pinky side of your fist. And you're not going to stand up a little for you to see me. I thought about this when I was planning. And you're going to do a little like gentle tapping. I don't know if you can see me there. You can't actually. I'm just doing a little tapping like this, but about 2 inches below the belly button and about 2 inches deep, but not too hard, right? And so the reason why so that's just a little thing of where we're going. We're just going to do it for a minute. You actually would be doing this a little bit longer than we're going to do it today. You might do it for like 3, 4, 5 minutes. You could do it. So we're going to start out with the head. We're just going to do a little gentle shake of the head. I'm going to talk a little bit about it as we're doing that. And the reason why you're doing both if you just did the head, right, and you weren't doing that little pounding, it would make you like a little lightheaded, right? Everything goes to the head. So this is also to keep you grounded. So then you'll take your fist and you'll do this little pounding. And then you're going to just do it together. Just like do it a little together. And important here is the breath. So you're going to breathe in the nose and out the mouth. And then you keep doing it. I'm kind of looking at you and talking at the same time. So you just keep doing that. And a lot of his work has to do with, this kind of little tapping on the belly button, around the belly button. He actually has a tool, which I do not have or use, that you kind of almost looks like a little plunger that goes in the belly button, right? Because so much, our gut is our second brain. So we're going to just do this. You're like getting the cobweb. Basically, you can think of it as you're getting the cobwebs out of your head and you're connecting with the gut, which is the other brain, second brain. And you're breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Just take a moment, take a breath, and blow it out. So I'd be curious to hear if you want to drop in the chat what experience or sensations you might have had in doing just that little bit of the brainwave vibration. So this is if you have brain fog, that will keep you from focusing, that's for sure. If you have brain fog, this is a great way to get it out. So you sit down at your desk, you do a little head back and forth with the pounding below the belly button, and it can clear it out clear that brain fog in a pretty quick manner. So any particular sensations, again, you would do it probably a little bit longer when you're doing it, but I wanted to just give you a taste of that. All right. Let's see the chat. So we will keep going. So now you've cleared your brain fog, you're getting focused, and let's talk about motivation. So you really could, as I was putting the information together, you really could say that focus, motivation, and empowerment are very similar, right? They're kind of layers of very similar. A little dizzy, I was too vigorous. Yeah, you don't have to be too hard. Concentrating to get all focused, everything else went out of your head, and now it's clear. So it worked. Yeah, so I definitely recommend Ilchi Lee and his work. He has basically sort of a school of practice called Brain Yoga. You can learn more about him there. They have a whole YouTube channel. He's not on it, but he's got 2 people that demonstrate everything, and you will find this video, a video on this practice there. And I do a lot of their different exercises, but yeah, clears the mind. So let's talk get motivated. We've got a few options here for oils to choose from, and I really would be remiss if I didn't start off with motivate. We can't do motivate without get motivated without the oil motivate. So this is a blend, and this is, I can tell you a little bit what's in that blend in a sec. I don't have all of it. It's like a citrus and mint combination. Here we are: peppermint, clementine, coriander, basil, yuzu, melissa, rosemary, and vanilla. So it's a combo of mints and citruses, and it's really about bringing motivation and encouragement to you. So if you are feeling stagnated and you need to get fired into action again, motivate is for you. I diffuse it often in my office. So it helps you with confidence to follow through on your creative inspirations or ideas or intentions, and it gives you a little bit of like oomph to face any kind of adversities or challenges that might, you know, try to tear you down. So I love this if you know, for encouragement, for being hopeful, for being energized, for being confident. All of those things are great with motivate. So again, when we're looking at these slides that have 3 oils, you can use them in multiple ways. You can put them in your diffuser, you can put them, you know, topically on you, and in some cases you can also ingest them. Motivate you cannot ingest, but the way you will always know, just look at the label and it will say supplemental facts if it can be ingested. If it does not have supplemental facts, which looks like a food label, then you cannot ingest it. But most of the straight oils you can ingest, just the blends are typically, but always look at the label. So the next one is Citrus Bliss, and I chose this one because this is the oil of creativity. It's like a fire starter, right? It's a powerful fire starter. It gives you your motivation back. It helps you get your drive when you're feeling that you're lacking. Oh, I love it. Yes, I love it. Teresa is a fan of Citrus Bliss. So great. This is so great. And it inspires creativity. So if you are needing to get something written, you want to paint something, you want to cook something, and you really want to tap into your creative spark, creative spirit, this is a great one for that. It helps connect you with your inner child also, so that those fun citruses and mints are really uplifting, and they kind of help you let go of sort of the limitations and insecurities. If you think about when you were a kid, you didn't really care if you were going to just paint all over the place, color out of the lines. You didn't worry about what it was going to be like. You just kind of went free form, right? At least a lot of kids do. I think I was probably concerned about coloring in the lines personally, but that's it. That's my own problem. So it really helps to bring color and imagination. And so I love that for those reasons. And then we've got green mandarin, and green mandarin, again, all of these can be put in the diffuser or you put a drop in your hands. The green mandarin is one that I also really love in my water. So it's just one of my favorite go-tos for one drop to flavor my water, which doesn't really have much to do with getting motivated, but then it gets in my cells. So it can work in that way too. And green mandarin is the oil of pure potential. So it's all about being excited, having wonder, being fearless, being delighted and innocent. So it has got a childlike aspect as well. So if you're finding that you feel like a little limited or trapped or fearful or doubtful, then green mandarin is perfect for that. So I love that. These are 3 top choices for getting motivated. Now, so the next get motivated option is our protocol today, which is wild orange. And a favorite is to combine it with peppermint. I'm going to stop the share for a second, show you how I love to do this. So I take a drop of or multiple drops, whatever comes out is what we need, and you can just do wild orange, but I'm going to do peppermint also. Peppermint. Oh, there it goes. And then you rub them together. And our friend Marion calls this they've named it the Connecticut cup of coffee. I don't know. They always talk about the afternoon cup of coffee. And then I'm going to bring my hands together like this. So I'm making so one hand cupped. Oh, I put way too much. You don't need that much. A lot came out of the bottle. And then I'm going to put the other hand in there. So I'm making my own little personal diffuser. See the little hole there? And then you put your nose right in there and take, if that doesn't wake you up and energize you, and whoo, I wish you could all smell it right now. My office is smelling really good. All right, so that is great. So that is a protocol for getting motivated. A drop of wild orange combined with a drop of peppermint, or just wild orange on its own. I just gave it a bonus by kicking it up a notch with the peppermint, because that's a personal favorite of mine. Whew. So anybody else use that combo? You can let us know. And feel free to add in the chat as we're going along. If there's something else that you do for focus, or if there's something else you do, you love it, love. Yeah, do you do it with the peppermint and wild orange combo? Put on the temples. Oh, thank you, Valerie. That's a great idea. Putting the oil on the temples is an excellent way to have it go right into the brain, right? And just make sure you don't get in your eyes. Yes to both. You're really not a true oil user until you get peppermint in your eyes. So that's like your initiation. All right, so let's talk about an energy practice that is great for getting motivated. So I had so many I couldn't pick, and then I just ended up going with one of my tried and true, and that is the breath of joy. So this is a yoga breath. If you're not a yogi, it might be new to you. If you are a yogi, you probably do this. And again, you would do this standing up. But so if you want to stand up, you can. I'm going to not stand up so you can still see me. You can kind of see me there. And so you put your feet a little more about hip width apart. And it would go like this. You're going to inhale, bring your arms in front of you. And you're doing a forcibly inhaling and exhaling. So you're going to bring your arms up, exhale to the side, or yeah, I have to do it faster. I can't do it slow motion. So you're going to front, side, up, and then down. So I would go like all the way down. So I'm going to stand up at one time and do it for you, if you can see here. So it's going to be, whoops, we don't want to whack our hand on the chair. And then I like to follow it with a little empty coat sleeves. So if you're in a place where you can stand up, feel free. We'll do a couple together. And I'm going to sit here so you can see it a little bit more clearly. And we're going to take it, inhale, front, side, all the way up, or front, whichever is best for your shoulders, and down with a big ha. Front. Ha. 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 One more. Ha. And then if you want to do a little side to side, empty coat sleeves, and let that settle into your body. So let me know if you were able to stand up and try it, what that felt like in your body. You can drop that into the chat. Woo, that just that combined with the wild orange and peppermint, forget it. I'll be cleaning out all the closets in the house tonight. I will be energized and on a roll. All right. Let's see. Oh, yes, that is magic. Oh, yeah, that is magic. That one, if you just are get up and you're really dragging, or it's 3 o'clock, tried it, loved it. Interestingly, to focus after, Yes, a full body shakedown, Teresa. I love it. Oh yeah. Yeah. Love, love, love that. Again, so let's go back to why I love this kind of stuff. It's simple, affordable, accessible, easy, right? So that you might not be able to do in the middle of a meeting if you're sitting at a boardroom table, but you can go to the restroom and do it. You can go outside in the parking lot and do it. You can walk into another room and do it. It's just very accessible to us. So let's talk about getting empowered. So I used the word getting empowered. I think on the flyer I said productive, but I thought, well, if I'm productive, I really feel like I'm confident and I'm on top of my game, right? So I decided to kind of shift that to empowered. So what are we looking at for getting empowered? The first one is ginger. I had to put that top of the list because ginger is the oil of empowerment. And I think it inspired me to use that word. So ginger is about holding no reservations, right? It's about empowered, committed, capable, purposeful, accountable. It is, I am woman, hear me roar kind of thing. That is what ginger is about. So ginger in your diffuser, once again, perfect. Ginger just on the temples, great. On the heart center, great. I haven't been mentioning where you could put these oils, but I would definitely, that could be a whole nother webinar, but I would go to where you are drawn. I like to put oil over my heart. So I love to do my pulse points. Bottoms of the feet, you can never go wrong putting an oil on the bottom of your feet, right? So ginger is really going to empower you. It's going to help you take responsibility. It gives you like the warrior feel, like, spiritual warrior. So that's what I love with ginger. Then we are following that with clove. And again, I think combining those two in the diffuser would be really lovely, ginger and clove. Smell like you got something good cooking there. And clove is the oil of boundaries. So I chose this because clove is about letting go of victim mentality. And we all go into the victim mentality at some point, I think. We try not to, but it's just sort of a human place that we can sometimes go. Sometimes we don't have really great boundaries, as much as we work on that, but we all go there from time to time with some relationship that we have. So this is about being courageous, independent, capable, proactive, being in integrity, all of those things. Clove helps you break free of patterns that you might have by getting you kind of to restore your sense of self and regain strength to advocate for your rights. So if you tend to have a relationship or a situation where you have like weaker boundaries, clove is going to be great for that. And finally, spearmint, which I always have on my desk. I have a little tiny trio oil holder on my desk, and I change around what's in there, but spearmint is always one of the things in there because spearmint is the oil of confident speech. And so that is about being empowered as well. And you don't need to be doing a, presentation to, need confident speech, right? It's going to, so I always like to put it on my throat. So that is a great use for that. It's about being articulate, confident, communication, clarity, courageous. All of those things to me say empowerment. And it's great if you really need to have confidence and express yourself. It helps you express yourself, and it also helps you get clarity in the message that you are trying to communicate. So those are 3 for empowerment. And the protocol is, now I will give a little caveat to this. Cinnamon bark, 1 drop on your tongue. I do it like this. I don't pour it out because I don't want a lot of drops. I just do that. So it's not even a full drop, and put on my tongue like that. Now the caveat is I will warn you that cinnamon is a very hot oil. So it's a hot and spicy oil. So if you are a person that would it's like having a little mouthful of red hot. And if that is not for you, then don't do that, right? I like it. It tastes great. I love cinnamon, and I like spicy and hot, so it does not bother me at all. But if that is something if you're sensitive, then you can put it in your diffuser. You can put it, a drop in your hands and inhale it, something like that. So you may want to just do that carefully. Doesn't bother me. I love it. I heard, I don't know if this is true or like one of these myths or whatever. I heard that David Sterling, who was the CEO of doTERRA, that he put like multiple drops of cinnamon on his tongue every day. So it really is like the CEO stand in your power kind of, effect. So he probably did, knowing him. All right, so an energy practice that you can use for being empowerment is, again, I had so many different things and I changed them. One is to dance. I loved Teresa saying how she, does a shakedown. So any kind of movement that makes you feel empowered. So I had different energy practices I was going to put in here, but really it's what makes you feel confident. And so another one is striking a pose. You probably are familiar with, the Superwoman pose and Amy Cuddy and her TED Talk. So if you haven't watched Amy Cuddy's TED Talk, I'm going to put it in here. So you have, and she is the one who kind of got us talking about striking that Superwoman pose as a way to stand in confidence, to feel empowered. So when you combine an energy practice with an oil, whether it's simply striking a pose, it's dancing, it's doing some water up, fire down, brain vibrations, it's doing a breath of joy, and you combine it with an oil, you have now just kind of like turned up the volume substantially on shifting your energy if you are feeling stagnant, overwhelmed, unfocused, unmotivated, lack of confidence, any of those things. So when you marry those two together, it's really like a, power punch. So there is another oil so we've gone through 3 different topics: focus, motivation, and empowered. And we looked at an energy practice for each, and we looked at a few oils for each, and we also looked at a protocol for each. And I want to start to wrap up with another powerhouse oil that I gave it its own little section here. Oops. Blue Tansy. And this is something I have seen many people do, the 30-day Blue Tansy challenge. So I'm going to invite you, if you want to consider that. So Blue Tansy, this is the oil of inspired action. And my fabulous friend Sheila, I told her she is working right now, but it's going to catch the replay. And I was telling her some of the oils I was going to include, and I asked her, what would be on her list, and she said, "Oh, absolutely, Blue Tansy would be the top of my list." And I said, "Give me a quote on that. What do you like about Blue Tansy?" And this is what she said: "It helps with follow through, overwhelm, staying focused, and taking that inspired action." So I will stop the share in a moment and show you the Blue Tansy, because it is very blue for one thing. It's the oil of inspired action, and the Blue Tansy challenge is putting a drop. I'll do this. Ooh, that's a few drops. I don't know if you'll be able to see. Can everybody see the blue? So it's very blue. That was a little too much. Now I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to rub it into my hands. So Blue Tansy is perfect for anybody who's resisting taking action or change, and they want to transform their circumstances. And that could be little or big. So maybe it's a habit that you're trying to incorporate. Maybe it's a health improvement that you're trying to make. Maybe it's a big change, right? You're going to move or change careers or something like that. It is great for inspiration, initiative, commitment. And it's strong smelling too. It's not my favorite scent, I will say, I will confess, but I do love the emotional impact of it. So it helps you to manifest your passion into action. So if you have some kind of desire or a yearning that's floating around with you right now, blue tansy is the way to go. So Sheila has done the 30-day challenge multiple times. I have not. I've started it a couple times and I've done like 2 or 3 days, and then you know how that goes. And sometimes you're like, oh, I'm trying to do too many things and I fell off the wagon of this. So here is what you do if you want to participate in this challenge. If you have some blue tansy, you just get it out. If you don't and you have a doTERRA account, just order it next time around. I'm going to do this starting the 1st of May so that if anybody wants to join me, they can get some before then. And never heard of it. What is it? So I can tell you what I think it smells like. But yeah, I have a picture of it. Yeah, it's a flower. And I don't know if anybody will agree with me on this, but I think it smells like pastina, personally. I don't know if you're Italians and you know the little tiny pasta that has a certain smell. I feel like it smells like pastina. It does not smell floral to me, but then again, I think petitgrain smells like green peppers. So who knows? I just things smell like, you know, unique to you. So this has chemazoline in it, which is, I'm trying to, oh, well then that's okay. It smells that way. It doesn't, you're not going to eat it. It doesn't taste like that. That's awesome. So chemazoline is what makes it blue, which is why it has this like very vibrant blue color. So I'm going to give it a try because Sheila kept saying, you've never done it for 30 days. I'm like, I haven't, but I'm going to. So the first step would be get some blue tansy. I have a Facebook group, Rhythm and Radiance, which where I talk about all things mindset, energy, environment, productivity, time, and wellness. And I often share oil information in there. So I will be reporting in there on my blue tansy experience. And if you want to join me, we can go along for the ride together, and you apply it to your big toe every day for 30 days, right? So in reflexology, that's where your brain is. The big toe is connected to the brain. And I have seen many people besides Sheila do this for 30 days and have very interesting results. So if you're willing to go on a little journey with me, Blue Tansy Challenge starting May 1st in Rhythm and Radiance group, I will make sure I put those details in the email that will go out with the recording. You're in for pastina. I will, does anybody else have this oil? And if you do, what do you think it smells like? Because I am probably not the person to answer that question for some reason. For some reason, this particular oil, it makes me think pastina. All right, so I'm gonna recap the daily practice that I mentioned. Not the best. Yeah. Well, the good thing is it goes on the toe. So it goes on the big toe, you put your socks on, and I'll be quite honest, one of the reasons that I never stuck with the challenge is because I have like practically very light carpeting. So you got to make sure you put some socks on every morning, put on your big toe, put your socks on, go about your business. By the time you're ready to go and put your shoes on, it'll be fine. But don't walk on your very light carpeting with blue tansy on your big toe, because I did do that when I first started the challenge. Both toes, you can go both toes. Yeah. Yeah. So daily practice, just to recap, in terms of staying focused and motivated and empowered. Douglas fir on the top of the head, patchouli on the bottom of the feet. A drop of cinnamon in the tongue, little wild orange in your hands, maybe add some peppermint, and as a bonus, the Blue Tansy Challenge. All of this, you don't have to do it all at once, right? I put daily practice, but it could be each day you do a different thing depending on what you need. But it gives you kind of a little cheat sheet. Here are some rituals and practices that you can do And then you could also add the energy practices as well as needed, right? So, you know, maybe one day you're full of energy, maybe one day you're just kind of dragging and you do a little wild orange and a little breath of joy. Maybe the next day you are just motivated and stuck, you know, have a writer's block kind of thing going on. Then you put that Douglas fir and patchouli on and you do a little brain vibration energy, right? I always want to go side to side with the head. It's a shake of the head. So don't. All right. So if you like any of these oils or interested in any of these oils that I have mentioned, you can text me at this number and I will send you a link. I have, if you are already a customer of doTERRA, I know many of you are, you can obviously grab any of those oils through your account. Let's go back one again. So I created a bundle that has all of these oils in it in a link. And I can text you that link. I can also leave it in the chat as well. And this would be for someone who does not have an account because it also gives you a doTERRA account. And when you go to, I'm trying to get the link. Copy the link. There we go. Copy the link and I'll put it in the chat. So if you do not have an account and you want to open one and you want to get these oils, that link has this little bundle, which I'm just going to refer to as sort of our motivation, our energy bundle. You can also take that link and you can add or take out anything you would like. So you can go to that link and say, you know what, I don't want no cinnamon on my tongue. You can take that out. You can edit the link. That link can be edited. And the only one thing that I will tell you about that is that if you are opening a new account, the account is free if, let's go here, if your total says 150 PV. So you can use that link, and that link is like 170 PV, I believe. So if you start taking some things out, as long as, and you could put things in, as long as it's 150 PV, they will deduct the $35 fee that is to open the account, just kind of like you do at Costco. So you open an account at Costco, you pay a fee, and then you get a discount. Same thing, you open an account at doTERRA, you pay a $35 fee, and you get 25% off any of your purchases. But if your first purchase is 150 PV or more, your $35 will be waived. So that's just, and I can answer any questions on that if you want to. Again, let's go back to, very nice. Thank you for that, Gail. The roof of her mouth. Very good, very good. That's always great as well, the roof of your mouth. So I'm going to also put my cell in the chat. If you want me to text you the link, if the link is in the chat, I mean, and it's also, I could text it to you too. And you can edit and modify it. If you already have an account, you don't need any of that. You can just go in and order it. So we have a variety of packages, but this is the package, not this photo, but this daily practice package is the one I just created for our time together tonight. And if you do open an account, you get 25% off the products. You earn rewards and free products. You have an individual wellness consultation and ongoing education and support. So just many of you already are getting all of that. And if you're not taking advantage of all of that, let's chat, right? You can get a free consultation, just kind of a refresher anytime. You might say, hey, you know, I still have 3 bottles I never opened. What the heck do I do with them? Let's have a conversation. Or, hey, we have this new issue going on with one of my family members and I don't know what oils to use. Let's have another consultation. There's never any charge for that. So if you already have an account, make sure you are getting your benefits and taking advantage of them. So any questions, comments, jokes, smart remarks, anything like that before we wrap up? if you have a question, you can feel free to unmute, or you can type it in the chat if you prefer. So I know Donna's joining me for some Blue Tansy love. Anybody else want to join in? I will just, I just decided this when I did the presentation to do this 30-day challenge, because I've never done it 30 days and I am curious and I'm ready for some inspired action.
I won't join you for the Blue Tansy challenge, but this was wonderful and I feel much more energized than an hour ago. So thank you.
Good, good. I love it. Fantastic.
Hi, it's Valerie. I want to
Hi,
also just say you are completely more energized than when we started the conversation. So we can see firsthand.
Awesome. I'm telling you that wild orange and peppermint put me over the top. The book of joy. Thank you for being here.
Absolutely.
Anyone else have any questions?
Kristen, I'd love to ask you a question afterwards, if possible, because
Sure.
I want to ask about something that an email I got from you.
Oh, okay. Absolutely.
Thanks.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I appreciate your time and I appreciate you, and look for more things happening. I really am looking to try to do a different topic every quarter, and also a different in-person event every quarter for those of you who are local. I know, Lori, you'll have to take a flight out here and just, come visit us on the East Coast here. So let's see. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, thank you. That's beautiful. Stay awake in the afternoon. Yeah. I mean, when you're going for that like afternoon cup of coffee, try one of these first. You may still want to get a cup of coffee, but I'm all about balance. And but first try one of these. And I would love to hear from you if you try some and how it works for you. So thank you so much. I totally appreciate your time, and there will be an email going out with the recording if you want to share with friends, or if you know somebody who could benefit, please feel free. That will go out in the next day or two once we get it all uploaded and fixed up. And I will catch you again soon. Have a great night.
Where's the music?
Oh my gosh. Oh, goodness gracious. I had something originally, I was like queuing up. Yes, so if you've been around before, I love to play music we always do a little dance party at the end. I don't know why.
Don't worry, we don't need it. It's fine.
Oh, we always
now.
We're just going with the first thing up there. Feel free to dance along, folks. I'm going to turn the recording off so we don't play any music.
Thank you.